I pledge allegiance to the republic which stands one nation, justice for all. Put your neighbors. Talk to you. Today's Rotary member highlight. Oh, I'm sorry. Before we get to the highlight, Don Noble's here to offer today's invocation.
Okay, this is titled A Reflection on the Common Good. Let us bow. A story is told of an old farmer whose corn crop consistently won first prize at the state fair. Brightly yellow, juicy, and sweet, the corn became a legend. After a decade-long streak of winning, a reporter interviewed the farmer about his strategy. The humble man surprised everyone by admitting his method was to share his best seed corn with his neighbors. How can you afford to share the best seed corn with the same people you compete against every year? The reporter asked. The farmer replied, "Don't you know? The wind picks up the pollen from the ripening corn and swirls it from field to field. If my neighbor grows inferior corn, cross-pollination will steadily degrade in the quality of my fields. If I am to grow good corn, I must help my neighbors grow good corn too." Today's individualist culture struggles with the notion of common good, which is required to sacrifice those who have surplus in order to ensure that those who are vulnerable are able to gain what is needed to fully flourish. What is good must be common to all. Amen.
Thank you, Don. Sorry about that. I'll get this job perfected just about in time for me to pass it off to somebody else. Okay, today's Rotary member highlight. This Rotarian is the Associate Director of Community Engagement for the College of Wooster. She has been with the Wooster Rotary Club for 2 years and is active with the flag program, helping with maintenance. She is also involved with the Youth Exchange Committee. And actually, Saturday, when we were doing flag maintenance, she not only helped with maintenance, but she brought a youth member, Isaac, along to help also. So this Rotarian lives in Worcester with her husband, Ron, and daughter, Anna. This worldly Rotarian lived in Japan for a year, teaching English. She is also known for having a 10-foot python in her dorm room at college. I have no idea what that story is about. Jill Monroe. Okay, quick reminder, Rotary flags are this Wednesday at 4 p.m. Again, maintenance, if you want to sign up, if you want directions to the flag building, come up and see me afterwards, but that's this Wednesday at 4 p.m. And of course, Rotary's wine, bourbon and tequila event is Thursday at 6 o'clock. Still room to sign up. So lots of seats available. Should be a good time. And yes, I will now turn it over to Secretary Lynn for the Secretary's report.
Thank you, President Tom. Invite Bob Gorman, past President Bob Gorman, to come forward for a special presentation. And as a teaser, there will be more special presentations this year.
Thank you, Secretary Lynn. Today's special presentation is going to be related to Rotary member Mike Steiner. And you're going to see, I think, some photos, rotating through them. I'm not going to specifically refer to, but you can see some photos of Mike at various stages of his life. And why are we doing this? Well, 50 years ago today, Mike stood in front of this club for his new member induction. Now, 50 years is a long time, but that's not even the halfway point of Mike's Rotary roots. Mike's father, Ivan Jr., and his grandfather, Ivan Sr., were both members of this club, and his great uncle, Alvin Rich, was a founding member in 1921. So Mike and his family provide an unparalleled example of the continuity of this club. Mike's the second of 6 Steiner children, born and raised in Worcester by Ivan Jr. and Lillian Snyder. Eldest sister Amy arrived before World War II. Then came Mike and 3 other boomer siblings. 18 years after that, his youngest brother Andy arrived. Someone once asked Ivan Jr. if Andy was a surprise. His response was, they were all surprises. In his youth, Mike had aspirations to be a professional athlete. Now, he was a very good athlete in his early years, but his dream received a setback in his sophomore year in high school when he tried out for the high school basketball team, coached at the time by Rotarian Dave Galloway. Coach decided that Mike's lack of height, lack of speed, and self-described pear-shaped physique were not part of the ideal player profile. So the name Steiner did not make it onto the team roster. Now, Mike is cut from the same mold as another Mike, Michael Jordan, who was also cut from his high school basketball team as a sophomore. So, like his namesake, Mike tried once again his junior year, certain that Coach Galloway would notice his vast improvement. And this is where our Mike and Michael Jordan's career paths diverged. Our Mike was cut again, believing a third time was a charm, and reflective of his good-spirited, persistent nature. Mike gave it one last shot as a senior, with the same un-Jordan-like result. Now, I was looking on the bright side. Mike likes to boast that unofficially, he's the only player in the long annals of Worcester High School basketball to have been successfully cut 3 times. Although his professional athletic career did not develop, he did excel in high school baseball and football and continued his football success at Wittenberg. And as a player, coach, or an avid fan, sports have played a significant role in Mike's adult life, too. Mike's first job post-college was at Rubbermaid in 1968, and was the result of Don Noble's senior invitation to participate in the management training program. The offer was extended at a Rotary meeting that Mike attended with his father in the spring before graduation. In 1975, Mike joined his father in the insurance business as a member of the Whitaker Myers team. Ivan Jr. retired shortly thereafter, and Mike purchased his father's interest in the agency. Steiner Insurance Agency was formed in 1986 when Mike ventured off creating his own brand. And although that agency changed names a couple of times late in his career, Mike spent the remainder of his professional life leading that organization. And as a property casualty insurance specialist, he pursued and achieved 3 of the most highly regarded industry education designations. His peers in the 600-member trade association, the Independent Insurance Agents of Ohio, chose him to be their president in 1987. And Mike's father had served in the same role years before, so they became the first father-son combination to go through the chairs. Mike's also been active as an outside director, serving on the boards of 3 different financial institutions. And in this club, Mike followed in his father's footsteps in serving as club president. Mike served in 1984-85. And a lasting contribution Mike made during that year was declining this strong interest of the Rotary District at the time to break this club into 2 smaller clubs. Supported by his Rotary board, Mike rebuffed that invitation under the belief that this would weaken rather than strengthen Rotary in Worcester. and in its surrounding community. And Mike's leadership and persuasiveness on this issue has proven to have withstood the test of time. Over the years, Mike's had several he's led several Ever-Rotarian every year campaigns, and is himself a Paul Harris +4 designee for his contributions. He's also spearheaded efforts to periodically update the club's bylaws. From a civic and community standpoint, there's too long a list really to go through for Mike's many activities, but in a nutshell, Mike's chaired the local United Way Committee, has served as president of several community nonprofit boards, including Junior Achievement of Wayne County, the Counseling Center of Wayne and Holmes Counties, and Wayne Center for the Arts. But his biggest community passion has been Worcester City Schools, for which he's had lifelong involvement. Among his larger roles, we're teaming with his brother Jeff to lead the campaign to pass the bond issue, which led to the construction of the present-day Worcester High School. He also served as the founding chair of the Worcester City Schools Business Advisory Council. And more recently, he served as a school board member, including a term as board president. In 2020, in recognition of his lifelong commitment to the community, Mike received the Worcester Area Chamber of Commerce's ultimate honor by receiving the Wall of Fame Award at the Chamber's annual dinner meeting. Mike and his wife Pam share son Bo, daughter Christy, daughter Jamie, and son Jason, as well as 6 grandchildren ranging in age from 7 to 19. So Mike, congratulations for a lifetime of service to this community, including 50 years and about 10 minutes as a member of the Rotary Club of Worcester.
Thank you, Bob. Mike's name will go on the plaque that we have on the walls for 50-year Rotarians, and also on the plaque at Oak Hill Park in the Founders Grove. There's a permanent plaque there that his name will go on. And I do want to mention that we have 2 60-year members still with Wooster Rotary, Ted Bogner and Ed Everhart, who's at Westview Healthy Living right now, but is a very regular contributor to ERDY. And 50-year members, Tony Biggio and Roger Cook, who is out of town. So I think that's quite impressive. Congratulations again, Mike. Shannon Waller or Jill Monroe has the traveling microphone, which is up front. And we will start with Mike Steiner. And while you're getting there, Rob Wells has a guest to announce from the podium. Yes, please go ahead.
My guest today is Aaron Brighting, our Director of Operations and Zamboni Master. So if you want to ride on the Zamboni, he's the guy you got to talk to.
My wife, Pam.
There we go.
My guest today is my daughter Lorna Young. She works for PNC in Orlando. My guest today is Joe Bodnar with the city of Worcester. Joe has graciously agreed to take my position, so I can quit the conference.
Hannah, get front of us.
My guest today is Lily Smith. She's my close sister.
I'm going to be back on the Ferguson Hall.
Good afternoon. Today I brought with me Danny Smith. She's our Director of Development at Westview.
And you may want to remember Danny's name because you'll see on your tables, there's an announcement about an event they're hosting. And if you have any additional questions, you can see Danny after the meeting. And also the next in the series of great decisions. So thank you, President Tom.
Thank you, Glenn. Again, welcome guests, welcome Rotarians. Guests, please know that you're always welcome back to any future meetings that you may want to attend. You're always welcome. Let's see, at this time, I will turn it over to Don Noble to introduce our speaker. Whoops. Boy, I'm on a roll today. But first, let's do a classification talk. Meredith Craig.
Good afternoon, everyone. I will make this as quick as possible to get to our guest here, but Meredith Craig, thank you for welcoming me to Rotary. I'm excited to be part of this. So a little bit about me. I grew up in Wayne County, graduated from Smithville, go Smithies. Any other Smithies in the room?
Yes.
Went to Malone University, got my bachelor's in history and political science. Been married 5 years and coming up in June to Ricky. Can't believe he's put up with me for this long. He is currently serving as a sheriff's deputy here in Wayne County. I am serving in my first term as state representative down in Columbus. We have 2 German Shepherds. You can see both of them have the same droopy ear, which we could not have planned. Yeah, it's kind of frustrating, but anyway, they're not very intimidating when you come over. So we've got 2 German Shepherds, Luca and Arlo, and we've got 3 cats. We live north of Worcester in the Smithville School District. So a little bit about me, my interest. First, family is important. I'm the youngest of 3. I have a lot of nieces and nephews that I like to spoil, get them all excited up on sugar and send them home to their parents. So Ricky and I call ourselves Craig's Cat Rescue. So we have rehomed several cats now, including the guy that you see in the top left corner. His name is Fluffy. He was a stupid cat that, we had to take in, and we have put a lot of money into this guy. He's still with us. As you can see, we love to puzzle, but our cats like to try and prevent us from successfully puzzling. I love to bake. You'll see in the bottom corner, I actually won the 175th Wayne County Fair Cinnamon Roll Contest. So I am, proud to say my cinnamon rolls are award-winning. That's a grandma's passed down recipe, and I enjoy doing that. Sports, grew up playing basketball, softball, watching all kinds of stuff. I am very loyal to Nebraska. You'll see my sister Lindsay and I there at Memorial Stadium. So I like to joke that I was brainwashed at a very early age, and it's been misery ever since because they were great in the 90s when I don't necessarily remember the 10, and it's been a slow and painful. But my mom grew up out in Nebraska. That's why I grew up a Husker fan. I was a fan of Caitlin Clark before people knew about Caitlin Clark, and for those in the room who know Caitlin Clark is, you'll get a laugh out of that. I've always followed women's basketball, tried to support women's sports. I'm finally glad that they're getting the attention they deserve. So my career really started at my time in Malone. I'm grateful for that. I started out a nursing major, completely shifted gears. The current president of the university, Dr. Miller, was my academic advisor at the time and also a history professor. Really kind of shaped me into this career and just appreciate that. I did spend some time abroad, as they call it, in Washington, D.C. It's a very young Meredith Alexander at the time in Washington, D.C. Accepted into a legislative fellowship program in Columbus following college. I was assigned to work in the Ohio Senate at the time, did that for a year. And then when that concluded, I had the opportunity to go work for Ron Umstutz when he served as Speaker Pro Tempore. And then because he was term limited, I was approached to go work at the Ohio Department of Insurance. So I had the opportunity to go over there for almost 7 years. So for the insurance folks in the room, I apologize. I was the regulator at one point. I worked both under the Kasich and DeWine administrations, which was just great experience overall, 2 very different leadership styles. And then wanted to branch out, grow a little bit more, so I went over to the Ohio Chamber of Commerce to lead healthcare policy for almost a year and a half. Well, during that time, I decided to run for office, and it's been a chaotic 2 years, but thankfully was successful. I won my election just this past year, and now serve you all in the Ohio House. So the reason I wanted to become part of Rotary, a number of reasons, but really just my desire to serve locally. I have grown up in the church, have always had a desire. It's always just been instilled in me to give back to others. It's kind of just foundational, what was instilled in us as kids. You know, I ended up doing a mission trip to Haiti for one of my senior college projects. Had the opportunity through actually my sister and her university at the time, but spent 2 weeks down in Haiti, just understood, you know, third world country, we have it very well here in the States, and that kind of steered me again to serve publicly and take advantage of all the resources we have here in the US. While I was down in Columbus, I also had the opportunity to go to India through the US State Department. It was an outbound program. We spent over 2 weeks there. What an awesome opportunity. We went from Delhi to Chennai to Bangalore, and really just spent some time understanding the different cultures, the different class structures. You're either rich or you're poor. That's kind of how I saw it. There's not really a middle class anymore over there. So again, just understanding that, learning from that. I'm a big believer. If you don't learn from others that are different from you, then you're never going to grow yourself. So I just tried to put myself in a position to do that. And then while I was also down in Columbus, I had the opportunity to be part of the Joanne Davidson Leadership Institute class, graduated in 2015. Again, just wanted to immerse myself into any type of leadership program that I could, have a great network of women across the state now that I can interact with and lead with. So with that, I'm excited to be part of this. I'm excited to get to know all of you well. And then I will conclude with the three that actually run the house. This is Fluffy, Storm, and Aria. We like to give our German Shepherds paws to the face quite often. So thank you.
Thank you, Meredith, and welcome to the club. At this time, I will turn it over to Don.
Thank you, President Tom. Rob Wells has served as director of the Alice Noble Ice Arena since February of 2024. Prior to joining the Alice Noble Ice Arena, Rob was executive director of the Wayne County Convention and Visitors Bureau. Rob has over 10 years of experience in the sports tourism industry, having previously worked at the Savannah, Georgia Sports Council, Sarasota County, Florida Sports Commission, and Naples, Florida, Marco Island, Everglades, Florida Convention and Visitors Bureau. That's a mouthful. Additionally, Rob has worked in the aviation, hospitality, and parks and recreation fields. Rob is a veteran of the United States Coast Guard and has served in multiple overseas deployments. Rob is a graduate of Baldwin Wallace University in Berea, Ohio. Rob has served as a high school football official for 18 years. I bet you have some stories with that. So as third quarter chair, I smell a program, another program for Rob. But anyway, and Rob is married to his wife, Megan. They have 2 daughters, Rose and Josephine. So please give a warm Wooster Rotary welcome to our own member, Rob Wells, as he gives us an update on all the great things that are happening at the Alice Noble Ice Arena. Rob?
Thank you, Don. Good afternoon. I'm here today to tell you all about the coolest place in town, the Alice Noble Ice Arena. This is a facility that plays a critical role in our community's recreational landscape and holds significant potential for future growth here in the city of Worcester. Before working at the Alice Noble Ice Arena, I never really considered how expensive a first date can ultimately be. Many of you may know this story, but Don and Alice Noble's first date was ice skating at Brookside Park in Cleveland. And for many years, they dreamed of recreating the magic of that first date by building an ice rink here in Worcester. The rink was opened in 2002 as a gift to the Worcester community by Don and Alice Noble. The Alice Noble Ice Arena was built to provide accessible winter sports opportunities for the Worcester area. It served as a central hub for figure skating, hockey, and public skating for over 2 decades now. While its origins were rooted in the philanthropic vision of the Noble family, its continued relevance stems from its ability to adapt and serve the evolving needs of the community and the region. It has gone through its own bit of turmoil. As many of you know, in 2019, the arena faced some financial difficulties, and there was even talks of it closing. For many aspiring entrepreneurs here, I can attest that starting an ice rink is not the best business in the world, and it's not easy to succeed, and it's indeed very expensive. There's a reason why most ice rinks in the country are owned by cities or universities. Because they're looked at as recreational amenities and not something that the rink itself can typically support itself financially. Luckily for us in the community, the Noble family continues to financially support the rink. But we have kind of reached a point where it's becoming more and more necessary for the community and our user groups to support the rink more financially. The Noble family has invested over $12 million into the facility since it opened in 2002. Since I started in February of last year, we've been looking at ways to raise additional funds and lessen the dependency of the Noble Foundation so that their work can go to even more groups here in the area. This year alone, just to kind of give you an idea financially, we're looking at about a $325,000 operating deficit. And that doesn't include capital repairs like our new Zamboni that we hope to see delivered in May. Excited about that. As it concerns to funding, one important thing to note is we don't receive any public funding, any direct public funding. I think a lot of people see our building and they assume we're part of the school district or maybe we're a city-run organization, but we're not. Originally, and for the first 22 years, we were a division of the Noble Foundation. But in January of 2024, we became a standalone 501c3 that relies on program fees, sponsorships, rentals, and donations. Talk about some of our key programs that we have. Our most popular program is definitely our public skate sessions. It just allows people to come in on their own, enjoy the ice, and have fun. We also offer stick and puck times for hockey players. We have adult hockey leagues, adult drop-in times. We have freestyle sessions, which are practice times for figure skating. And then we have various hockey camps and clinics. We have a lot of birthday parties. What better place to have a birthday party than at the ice rink? We have a variety of options for families, for small parties to larger groups that rent the entire rink. Just this past weekend, United Titanium had a private corporate event there on Saturday night. Additionally, we have a couple of meeting rooms that are available for rentals and off-site meetings, team building activities, things like that. Most all of our younger skaters, they get started out in our Learn to Skate program. This is a 6-week program where everybody starts with kids who have never touched the ice before, where they learn how to fall down and get back up and the very basics. Each one of these sessions are 6 weeks long, and they take place pretty much year round. From Learn to Skate, they kind of decide where to go, either into hockey or figure skating. So we have a Learn to Play program, which is another 6-week program that introduces them to hockey, gets them started on their adventure, and it introduces them to the Worcester Youth Hockey Association, which I'll talk a little bit more about. Aspire is the next step for aspiring figure skaters. This teaches them the basics of competitive figure skating and gets them ready to move on to the Worcester Figure Skating Club. We also have a Woo Skate Club, which is a once-a-week after-school program. It's another child care option for families for us to take care of their kids so they can continue with their work day. Gives them structured time on the ice, and if there's hockey players in there, we have drills for them as well. One of our most popular programs are our Schools Out Day Camp and our summer camps. I have some brochures on the table. Our Schools Out Day Camp is offered pretty much every day that Worcester City schools are not in session. And then our summer camp is very popular. We average about 60 to 70 kids each day during the summer break. Our next program that's starting up here in a couple weeks, we offer a three-on-three hockey program, which is a more recreational. It's a little less structured than the Worcester Youth Hockey Association, and this allows kids to have fun without the pressure of being on a team. And it also gives families and kids that haven't decided to make that jump, gives them an opportunity to compete without making that big jump into the WYHA. So the Worcester Youth Hockey Association, the WYHA, is our local youth hockey association that has most of all the competitive teams that play at the rink. They provide structured hockey programs for kids ages 4 to 18, focused on some skill development, team dynamics. This program serves as a foundation for young athletes, fostering discipline and competitive spirit. They currently have 6 teams that play out at the rink. Looks like they're hopefully going up to 7, maybe more next season. The Wooster Figure Skating Club offers a range of figure skating programs from introductory lessons to competitive training. We've had some successful figure skaters that have come out of the rink in the rink's history. They recently hosted their first competition in several years, a couple years ago, so we're excited to see them growing and coming back. Adaptive Sports Ohio. This partnership provides inclusive opportunities for individuals with disabilities to participate in sports, notably sled hockey, which actually this Friday night, they had their celebrity game, which a few of you were part of, so that's always exciting to see. And then our last key partner, the Ohio Prospects, they're a AAA program, so it's kind of it's a intermediate between the WYHA for very competitive players that are looking to go on maybe to college. Some have professional aspirations. So that's if you ever want to see really good hockey, whenever they're playing, that's the team to go see. And the College of Worcester also has a couple of programs. They've had a club hockey team in the past, and they have student-run programs that come out and enjoy the ice a couple times, or actually once a month. The community impact. The arena's impact really extends beyond its recreational function. Contributes to the local economy and the community fabric of Worcester. We welcome over 200,000 people into the rink each year, and a lot of those people are not from the immediate area. Tournaments and events draw visitors from surrounding areas. They generate revenue for local businesses. These visitors support hospitality, retail, dining sectors. Nearly every weekend throughout the hockey season, you'll see teams from Cleveland and Columbus, but they're also playing teams from Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, Indiana. We've had a team from Maine come in a couple weekends this year. Growing up in Ashland County, the closest rink we had was Overland, which is now closed. We have families that come to the rink 2, 3, sometimes 4 days a week from Ashland, Loudonville, Mansfield, and a couple even further. You know, after the College of Worcester, I'd be confident in saying that we're probably the second biggest driver of tourism in the county. We take a lot of pride in how our rink looks. And we have so many teams that come to our rink that they're in a different rink every weekend. And every time they come into our rink, they say we have one of the nicest one they've seen all year. And we take a lot of pride in that. The rink serves as a relocation factor for a lot of families. The availability of a well-maintained ice arena is a consideration for a lot of families that think about moving to the area. I've had several families that have called and talked to me about our programs because they're considering making that move from wherever it may be. In the past couple months, I've met 2 different families that have moved to the area to work at Daisy, one at Scheffler, that were trying to learn about programs at the rink, and they both said that they would not have made the move if the rink didn't exist here in Worcester. One thing I'm proud about, that the city of Worcester is very proud about, is you look up here are the top 10 micropolitans. We are the only city on that list that has an ice rink. I think that's kind of cool. But most importantly, the rink offers a truly unique recreational opportunity for the community. Public skating and learn to skate programs offer accessible recreation opportunities for all ages. promoting physical activity and community engagement. At Christmas time, the rink is packed with families who have made coming to Alice Noble a tradition for over 20 years. Another way we contribute to the community is our advertising opportunities. We have a lot of different rink side. That's not our Zamboni, but I put it up there with our new Zamboni coming. We are aggressively seeking a sponsor for that. I thought that's the University of Northern Michigan. I thought it's really cool what they did there. We also offer some event sponsorships and various advertising options. It's a fun and unique way to promote your brand and contribute back to the community. There's a list of some of our current partners and sponsors, some of which are here in the room. Thank you. We really appreciate your support. There is a spot there for anybody else that's looking for a new way to promote your business. So as we look to the future, some of our plans, what we'd like to see, the one big goal we have is to add a second sheet of ice. A lot of people will look and say, well, you're losing a lot of money with one sheet. Why would you add a second? Well, it actually is what makes a rink successful, is having that second sheet of ice. There's so many events and tournaments that we are completely eliminated from being able to host because we don't have that second sheet of ice. So it could really open up a lot of opportunities for us and the community. If you look at an overhead of the rink, it was actually designed to be a W. So we're just missing our left arm there for the second sheet. We want to see expanded youth programming, youth hockey teams. It's an audacious goal, but I would love to see three teams at every age group, and that includes one all-girls team at each age group. And then the final big goal is to add a Ohio High School Athletic Association or a Wooster High School team. I think that would be really neat to see. It'd be awesome if we could add a second high school in the area to have a team as well. These expansions are not merely aspirational, they're grounded in practical considerations for our success. As I mentioned, the current single sheet configuration limits our capacity to host tournaments, accommodate growing programs, and offer flexible scheduling. Some of the teams are there 10:30, 11:30 at night because we only have one sheet of ice and there's a lot of people that want to use it. Second sheet would alleviate these concerns and constraints. So in closing, I'll say the Alice Noble Ice Arena is a valuable community asset with the potential for significant growth. If we invest in its infrastructure and expand its programs, we can ensure its continued relevance and maximize its economic and social impact. This is not simply about building a larger facility, it's about investing in the future of our community. The arena brings so many positives to the Worcester community and the greater area. But what means so much to me and what is so important is the emotional value the rink brings to individuals and families. Our arena is a home, it's a refuge, and it's a special place for a lot of the kids that come in there. We have several kids that come to the rink and it's one of the few positives in their lives. Regardless of what is going on at home, when they come to the rink, that's their happy place where all their worries go away and they can focus on doing what they love. We make a difference in their lives by having this rink available. And I'm proud that I get to come to work and be a part of making their day better every day. So thank you very much, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
For coming, you have a ballpark figure for what it costs to put in a building with the second sheet of ice?
It depends. There's really two options. The one option that I think is fun and exciting is exploring kind of a partially outdoor rink. So it'd be covered, but it wouldn't be enclosed. That is less expensive, probably in the $5 million range. Judging by what other facilities that have been built in the past year around the country, a fully enclosed indoor rink would probably come close to 10 or 12 million.
Hi,
Hi.
I was looking at your brochures. They're really very nice.
Thank
very
you.
amusing. But I'm wondering if you have an organized fundraising group, parent volunteer group, somebody that helps you reach out into the community. For example, if I wanted to send you a check, other than to sign up for a program, there's no information on any of these that I can pick out quickly. And I'm wondering about your outreach and how you manage that. I know you have a very committed group of parents and volunteers that help you, but I'm wondering how that is structured to help you raise money.
Yeah, it's a great question. To answer it, we do not have a structured committee right now that's focused on fundraising. As I mentioned, we were part of the Noble Foundation up until January of last year, so excuse me, now that we're our own 501c3, that is something that we are striving to create and something that we hope to get out into the community as quickly as possible.
Are there any possibilities of state or federal funding?
It's another great question. I mean, I think so. I mean, Meredith, you wanna help with that? Kidding. I mean, I think there are. I mean, there's trying to tiptoe around this. There's a rink in Newark that secured funding as a mass casualty site. So there's emergency management funds that they had available somehow. So I think there are creative ways to get additional funding. Not something we've looked into heavily.
Yeah, some of the grants.
Yeah, we have applied for some grants recently. Worcester Community Foundation, looking at some other grants that are open to us through the city and some other groups. So it is something that is working hard at, is finding grant opportunities.
As a token of our appreciation of your program and speaking to us today, we'll give you a rendition of the Rotary Wheel with the four-way test on the back. And as a Rotarian, I'm sure you know exactly what that test is. Yeah. And as a, my youngest daughter was a figure skater, and yeah, it continues to be with her, be a part of her, and yeah, meant a lot to our family and continues to mean a lot to her as well. So, okay, next meeting is the 10th Daughters of the American Revolution of Worcester and Wayne County will be speaking to us. Robin Chrisman and Don Noble will be the host. And with that, we stand adjourned. Thank you.